Good evening and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Nowadays, bullying doesn't only take the form of teasing, taunting and physical violence. It can also be online where no one else can see. Cyberbullying is repeated, intentional, malicious threats, taunts, abuse and harassment via the internet and can be inflicted by one person or a group of people. Normally it involves young people, but many adults are being affected by this horrible thing too nowadays. If you are being cyberbullied and think your world is over, stay tuned because you're going to get advice on what you can do. And if you're a parent watching, find out how you can protect your children. If you want to ask a question or comment on this topic, email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. My guests tonight are Scott Freeman, founder of the Cybersmile Foundation, and Adrian Katz, Director of YouthWorks Consulting and author of Cyberbullying and E-Safety. And later on in the show, we're also going to be having our Friday makeup and fashion tips, and we'll also be featuring a very, very nice place to visit. But to introduce our first guest, let's take a look at this clip as sourced from BBC News Sussex.
It made me feel like death was the only way out, to be honest. I remember every single day coming home and just crying and crying and crying. I was actually quite scared that it was going to happen because I didn't know half the people that were actually giving me death threats.
The chilling words from a young girl who so nearly threw her life away. At the time, Scott Freeman was unaware of the cyberbullies who were crushing his daughter's confidence and pushing her to commit suicide.
The only way to describe it, in her words, was that she felt like death was the only way out, which is absolutely tragic for an 11-year-old to feel like that. My daughter said that she had over 60, at one point 60 kind of negative bits of feedback on one update to her Facebook page. And it just escalated. She ended up with threats to kill her, stuff saying, why don't you kill yourself or we do it for you.
It's really, really disturbing. We have Scott Freeman with us in the studio. Good evening, Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good evening.
So, tell us about everything that happened then with Poppy, your daughter. So that was your daughter obviously there.
Yes.
How did it all start?
It started at school with just with an argument with a friend. And it spilled up, you know, it went home and then they were arguing on Facebook. And it built up over a few days. Then a few other people started getting involved, a few people from school, you know, onto my daughter. And then it escalated over the course of a few months and it ended up with strangers involved saying things like, you know, why don't you kill yourself or we'll do it for you and things like that.
Did you actually realise that something was going on? Did you notice like a change in Poppy's behaviour or did she come and tell you herself? Did you notice anything?
Yeah, she started not wanting to go to school and things like that. And
classic sign,
stomach pains, feeling sick, headache. But didn't realise for a while, but it was when this grown-up, or the profile of a grown-up said that she felt she really had to tell us. Till then we had no idea.
What did she say to you? How did she approach you to tell you?
She just said that she don't know what to do because it keeps happening and she said it was like being, everything she was doing being under a microscope. That's the only way she could describe it.
Did she know, obviously she knew that the friend involved, but did she know the other people that were involved as well?
Not really. It was some of them at the very beginning, but then it ended up with all different profiles, different people. You know, that some may have been real, some may have been fake. That's the problem with some of these networking sites.
How old was she at the time when it
She was
started?
10, around 10 and 11, yeah.
Gosh, that's terrible. And how did you feel as a parent when she told you this? I mean, I think I would have been fuming.
Yeah, I mean, initially there was anger and all the rest of it. The very first reaction was, oh, it'll blow over, baby, don't worry about it, that sort of thing. I just thought, you know, I didn't realise how bad it was.
The extent of it.
Yeah, which is a common problem with parents. They, not so much now, over the last 2-3 years, it's become much more prominent. But yeah, we thought it'd blow over. And then when I realised the things they were saying...
Did you see for yourself?
Yeah, and then I started...
Can you say some...
all sorts of, you know, everything terrible you could say about someone's mum and dad and about themselves, you know, everything that's disgusting.
What was really good though was the fact that you did have that open relationship with Poppy, because there's some other kids, for example, and you know, we've heard of cases where kids have been bullied at school or even over the net, and they can't, for some reason they can't tell their parents, or they're afraid to tell their parents. Maybe they've received threats from people against their parents as well, and they, instead of opening up and getting help, they actually commit suicide, and that's awful, awful.
Yeah, I mean, a big problem with the children not telling their parents is because Initially, a lot of parents, their reaction is, oh, that God, Facebook, that you're coming off the computer. They can make them close the account down, or put filters on, or do whatever.
Yeah.
So the children are not telling their parents because they don't want that to happen. They don't want their mobile to be taken off them. They don't want the account closed.
Yeah.
And then without telling anyone, it's got a chance to escalate, and it can get really out of hand.
So Poppy was actually feeling suicidal, wasn't she?
Yeah, at one point, in hindsight, looking back at some of the footage and some of the things she said, it obviously got to her that much, yeah, and it's terrifying as a parent. It's terrifying.
Yeah, because at that age as well, it's like friends and school. It's like your world. So for us looking from the outside, looking in, it's like, oh, they're just, they're being stupid. These don't pay attention to these people. But it's easy for us to say that, but when you're actually in the thick of it. And I'm speaking from experience because I was bullied at school, obviously not cyberbullied because we didn't have the internet back then because it was quite a few years ago. But, it's horrible, and you do feel isolated. You feel, you don't really want to talk to anyone about it. You feel quite ashamed about it. So it's very easy for people to say, just get over it. You can't. And, it's important for kids to know that they can get help, and there are other people going through it as well. But tell us about CyberSmile. Okay,
well, that's a charity that I set up with another parent, his name's Dan Raisbeck. And both the children were suffering, and what it was, I found when Poppy was going through it, I spoke to the school, and the school said it's not within their remit. The police said it's not an offence. I looked for a charity for advice what to do as a parent.
That must have been really frustrating.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
It's like no one can help.
Yeah,
like...
and then on the internet, finding that there was no charities, it was just like, I can't believe this. So I'd done so much research over the course of time. I just thought, well, I'll set up a website and to help other parents and children. What kind of help were you offering on it? Just advice to begin with, just advice and stuff like that. But now we've got like a helpline, and we're a registered charity because the demand's there and the help's there, and we're getting great feedback. We're helping families, and parents are really thankful, and we're getting kids' lives back on track. Can you tell us a bit about what you actually advise as well, like some of the advice that you give to parents who are going through this, or maybe they suspect that their child is being bullied online? Yeah, I'd say to the parents, keep an eye out. The best thing to do is to make your children feel like they can talk to you, because reassure them that you're not just going to take the phone or the laptop off them or close the account. Because that's like the end of someone's world if you do that, especially a youngster, right? Of course, they can't live without their modern tech. So they need to know that you're cool about it, and you've just got their interests at heart. The best thing, ideally, get to your children just before they set the profiles up and go through the safety settings with them, because not many people do. Most people let their children go on younger than the age limit. But do you think sometimes it's because parents don't really understand how to do certain things? Because I've got a friend, she's got a 6-year-old, and this child, she knows how to use the phone and the iPad better than I do sometimes. She just whizzes through it. And I can imagine some parents not really knowing how to educate their kids on how to do certain things, because kids pick it up so quickly. Well, that's what we're doing at the CyberSmile Foundation. We're raising funds so we can make parents aware. We're trying to bridge the gap between parents and child of the technical understanding, and teach people to respect the privacy settings from the start. A lot of this stuff is indexed, so if it's like this sexting and stuff like that, people send something out. It's not. Some children are under the illusion you can just delete it, but it's not. It's indexed on Google and whatnot, and it's out there, and you've lost it. You don't know what servers it's on. So you do have to respect everything before it leaves. You need to understand the internet, full stop. Okay. Just before we continue, Scott, let's take an email from Audrey as well, from some parents and people as well.
Hi, yes, we've got a mom that is saying that my daughter is 14 and she has been bullied every day for over the past year, and she's now being bullied by lots of girls and boys from her school on Facebook. She's gone through this for too long now, and all the school will do is to suspend these kids for a week, and then when they come back, they will start again. So what is the best thing for her to do? Do you have any advice on that, Scott? Because, okay, kids get suspended, but then they come back, they just continue, and they can continue while they're off school as well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd recommend they contact our charity, because we can do a lot of work for them. Okay. But just save all evidence is the most important thing of all. Get screen grabs, screenshots of everything, put a file on the desktop and put everything in it, because often it does escalate, and then you've got proof of what's been going on. Okay. Now, Scott, you're actually heavily involved at the moment with an online government petition. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, we've got an online petition. It's on our website on www.cybersmile.org, and there's a link there. It's a government petition to amend legislation so cyberbullying becomes a defined offence. Because at the moment there's a problem. One guy did go away for this kind of thing. He went to prison, and the judge could only give him 6 months because he was governed by outdated laws, which they do rely on these harassment laws and stuff like that. So we need new legislation to include new technology.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Audrey, have we got one more email?
Yes, we have. This is another mom. She's writing in to say that I'm trying to keep my teenage daughter safe online by checking what she posts up and also who she speaks to. But she thinks she's overly protective and she's invading her privacy. And the daughter has told her that everything is fine and she's just worried. So she's just wondering what is the right way for her to protect her and at the same time give her the personal space that she wants.
Gosh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Because
yeah, without knowing the child, I mean, my daughter went mad about interfering and stuff like that. It's really down to each individual. Do you
think it's better coming from someone else rather than
the
parents?
It can be. Yeah, it can be. You know, again, encourage your child to look at certain websites like ours and like other informative sites, and let us tell them the message that it's a bit harder for a parent to deliver.
Yeah. Now, actually, you ended up moving house, didn't you, because of the problems that, or was it school that Poppy moved?
Well, I mean, she moved school in Brighton, she moved to another school, but because of the nature of social networks, the problem followed. So in the end, her and her mum moved up to another part in the north of England to start a new life.
Gosh, and how was that? How was the whole moving process and everything?
Well, she went to a new school up there, and it just affected her confidence and her approach to schooling, so now she's home tutored. So it's long term, it's affected her, academic life.
Okay, but how is she doing in the sense of, within herself? Is she getting
much better? Yeah, she's, I mean, what they say, things make you stronger, and I think it has. She's grown up a lot and she's become strong, and I think she now knows what's important and what's not and what's serious.
Okay. Scott, thank you so much for sharing your story.
It's a pleasure.
And also all the best with the survey that you're doing and everything, the petition. Hope it goes really well for you.
Thanks very much.
Keep us updated as well.
No, will do.
So don't forget, if you do want to get more information about what Scott's doing, please do visit his website, and also all the links will be up on chrissybshow.tv as well. So obviously it's not really realistic for parents to prevent their kids from using Facebook and other social media, because kids will really go crazy. That's like probably cutting their arm off to some people. So how can we keep our kids safe online? My next guest will be shedding some light on this, so join us after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, where we are speaking all about cyberbullying. Just before I introduce my next guest, I want to read an email that came through from Sharon Lawton from Natural Flair Coaching Limited. Now, she was actually one of our guests, a lovely lady that was giving some great parenting advice. And she says, "Hi Chrissy, such a great subject for discussion tonight, and so important for everyone to understand the dangers of cyberbullying and how it affects not just kids but adults too. When people are affected by any kind of bullying, they often think that there isn't anything they can do to stop it. Information and knowledge is power, and this can empower young people affected by cyberbullying to speak out and seek the help they need for it to stop. I am regularly asked to go into schools on parents' information evenings to inform parents about the dangers of cyberbullying and what they can do to empower their children to keep safe. Some kids and parents don't even realise that by participating in cyberbullying, they are in danger of being prosecuted under the Malicious Communications Act and can end up with a criminal record. Just wanted to share this quote with you, which I share with parents I talk to. Bullies are like vampires. They thrive in the dark. Let a bit of light in, expose them, and they often crumble away. I see the bit of light shows like yours, which give information and knowledge, and brilliant websites such as thinkyouknow.co.uk and beatbullying.org.uk for help. So I will put all of that stuff up on the website as well. So thanks very much for that, Sharon. So now we have our next guest with us, who's going to explain a bit about what she does, and that's Adrienne Katz. Hi, Adrienne.
Hello,
how
Chrissy.
are you?
I'm well, thanks.
So tell me about what you do.
I'm part of a group that gives schools an award if they have excellence in their anti-bullying approach.
Wow.
So we
That's a
would
good
look
incentive.
to see how well they involve all the pupils, how they change the whole environment where bullying is no longer acceptable, and also the way they integrate their teaching about e-safety and cyberbullying with the general anti-bullying work of the school. It's about how you keep pupils safe. In today's world, you can't say you're keeping people safe if you're ignoring the online world.
Because it's such a huge part of people's lives now, isn't it?
Absolutely, and the Bullying Intervention Group, which we call BIG, B-I-G, runs the BIG Award. And what we're hoping is that schools that achieve the award, it's very prestigious, and their parents and pupils really want to choose a school that can demonstrate that they care for pupils' well-being.
Yeah.
So
That's
we are
top of the
hoping that
priority,
it's like a
top of the
carrot,
Yeah.
and lots of schools will want
How is that
to
going?
achieve it.
Are
It's
you
going
getting a lot
really
of
well.
response?
Schools are joining all the time. People are submitting they have to submit a portfolio of evidence. And most importantly, we recheck them every 12 months.
Oh, that's
so they
good.
can't get
So they
the
can't just
award
get the
and then
award.
relax.
Very
But
clever.
also, we want to hear from the pupils. We don't just want the head teacher to send us a nice document about what they're doing. We want to know from the pupils that it's actually working.
Okay.
And to that end, we offer schools free surveys so that they can hear from their pupils.
Tell us about the cyber survey you're doing.
Well, I'm a great believer in anonymous surveys where you ask large numbers of young people about their experience. And I've got 9,229 young people who have told me about cyberbullying experiences, what's happened to them. Have they told anybody? Have they got help? In fact, who did they tell? It's quite interesting. And also, have they been taught about e-safety, which means how to stay safe, not only online, but on your mobile? And if they were taught, was it any good? And do they follow it?
And what are the results showing so far? How
the
is
shock
that?
is really that in the mid-teens, when cyberbullying is known to peak, that's 14 to 15, the number who actually follow the e-safety advice drops to 26%.
Oh, gosh.
Now that is really a shocking finding, which suggests that we have to look at what we deliver, how we deliver it, and a better way to get these messages across. So we've been going into schools and running workshops with young people to find out what they think about these figures and what they suggest. And they've been coming forward with great ideas about how it could be done differently. And when I hear Scott talk about what happened to his daughter, I feel really angry that we could not have intervened much, much earlier in that case. First of all, young people, please clean your friends list. Do not have on your friends list on Facebook or anywhere else people you don't personally know in real life. Remove them. If people start sending you offensive messages, such as she got, delete those people and block them and get rid
of the print screen
take,
first of all.
Yes, keep the evidence by all means. Learn how to, it's called munch, take a screen grab or save the message on your phone. You know, your instinct is to perhaps delete it, but keep it.
It's so shocking, isn't it?
Yes. You need evidence if you're to get the website to do something, or if you need to go in a very serious case to the police, or perhaps just to your school or your community safety officer. There are things you need to do. So you should keep your evidence. You should clean your list all the time. I know it looks as if you're more popular if you add lots and lots of friends, and I understand why teenagers do it, but please don't do it. And also no 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds on Facebook. Parents have to be firm and be parents. And there are some things that are not appropriate, and they can't protect them well. And the school should be saying to parents, if it's a primary school, it's not appropriate to be on Facebook. But at the same time, the school has a duty of care and should have helped when Scott alerted them. It wasn't right to say
just
this
like
isn't
bouncing the responsibility back and forth.
Actually, it is their responsibility, and indeed they will be inspected, and they need to prove that they are keeping their pupils safe. So I don't agree that they could have wriggled out of it. They should have
done something,
been forced to. And I think that you and I can see, just thinking about what he said there, that there was an environment in which lots of people thought it was okay to bully Poppy.
Yeah.
Nobody in those young people said to the others, hang on a minute, this is not on, let's stop it. And if you do widespread work with the young people in the school, you can turn this around. Just excluding them is a waste of time. They get more time to go online and bully somebody. And you cannot bully people into stopping bullying. You have to make them understand the seriousness of it, the impact it has, the risk they are creating, and also how damaging it'll be for them when one day they're in a job interview and they're about to get the job, and this person says, you know, I've done a search on Google and I've discovered that actually you have posted some really unpleasant messages about other people, and in the workplace bullying is not acceptable.
As Sharon was saying, there's few parents and kids that actually know they can end up with a criminal record and how it's going to affect. So that is a really good deterrent.
Of course.
It's very good.
And I think also a lot of young people, there's a lot of banter going around, there's a lot of really unpleasant language that's common, and some people think, well, it's just how it is. They don't realise that to certain people this is so offensive and so hurtful. And if they stop to think about the impact of their actions, many of them wouldn't pass the message on or spread the rumour or circulate the humiliating photograph. So don't post photos of yourself that could, in the wrong hands, be used against you. Just don't. And
don't risk it at all.
Set the privacy settings of each and every photograph you ever upload. Even if it's a loving photo between you and your boyfriend, one day you may not be with him and it could be used against you. It's the most common form of bullying, where people use self-generated photos. So if you were asking me to give advice, there you are. Control your own privacy and know how to report abuse.
Tell us about this book that you've written as well, Cyberbullying and E-Safety. How did that come about?
Cyberbullying and E-Safety came about because of this big survey of over 9,000 young people. They were telling us such interesting things.
Actually, I've got something here as well about parents.
Yes.
So it says here 54% had not talked to their child about how they could protect themselves or deal with cyberbullying, and 45% didn't know about the report abuse option on social networking sites. That's
These are
huge.
basics. So we need to have multiple messages. Messages to parents, get your act together. You don't have to know everything. You just have to say to your child, let's find out together.
At least learn the stuff so you can pass it on to your kids.
But
even
you
if you're
could
not
explore
with-
together.
Yeah.
I don't know everything, and I do workshops with young people all the time in which I say, well, if you're brandishing your mum's credit card and you're doing lots of shopping, buying on iTunes, buying downloads and stuff, how do you know the site is safe? What signs do you look for? And then I help them look for 5 things that could tell you that it's okay to put your credit card onto the site. Similarly, parents could explore with their young people how to set the privacy settings, how to keep safe. They don't have to know everything. They have to be partners on the journey of finding out. And if their young people get really skillful, they can teach their parents a thing or two. But at least you're discussing it all the time.
To break into it, because say, can you help me, honey, because I want to set up the safety settings on my account, and then the kids can show them.
And they have such skills. But then you start a discussion about in which circumstance would this be a worry, and what would you do if something unpleasant happened, and would you tell me, and how could I help you? You need to be talking all the time, because when you give the advice, everything might be fine, and this child throws it off and says, oh mum, you know, everything's great, you're worrying too much. But 6 months down the line, that child might not feel that way. So got to keep that door open. And also,
in your survey, did the children or the people that you surveyed, would they normally go and tell their parents, or was it something they were hiding?
A lot of people don't tell anyone. Some of it is so embarrassing. I mean, you can't imagine telling your teacher, for example, that nude pictures of you are circulating on the internet. Other people who are being homophobically bullied might not tell their parents if their parents have a very strong attitude about this issue, because it's tantamount to saying, well, maybe you are gay. So many people suffer in silence and become extraordinarily distraught and depressed because they cannot see how to tell somebody and get help. So I think identifying somebody you trust is really important. Some of those people who did manage to tell said they didn't get good help. The help was not successful. Either the bullying got worse or stayed the same. So we have to upskill the young people. We have to improve the skills of teachers and other trusted adults in how to help someone who might come to you. And we have to open some sort of dialogue and also allow older pupils to teach younger pupils. There were wonderful people in year 9 who could really explore e-safety. And when we said to them, well, could you teach your younger brother or a younger pupil? They were very keen to do so. So what we learned from young people is there are lots of them out there who could really help in this battle to change things.
Okay, Adrian, let's take a quick email as well from Audrey.
Well, we have one from a mom that says her child is being bullied via Facebook and other social network, exclusively by students that attend his school. And would the school be liable or duty bound to investigate if his bullying, if his attitude to school is adversely affected, but the bullying may not actually take place within school hours, it's taking place outside school hours and not utilizing the school equipment.
Okay, so it's bullying by students within the school, but they're not using school equipment, so is the school still liable, do you know?
School should use its power under the Education Act 2006. They have a power to discipline pupils for things which happen outside of school hours or off the premises. So they have a power.
Right, okay.
It's not actually a duty, but it's a power.
But they've got that option if they want
Yes,
to, right?
they have a power to discipline. They even have a power to confiscate such things as mobile phones. But they also have a duty to safeguard all their pupils, and they have a duty of care towards the well-being of all those pupils. I don't think you can safeguard your pupils unless you take a proactive stance about this. You need to be dealing with the behaviour of those pupils who are doing this. You need to turn it around or it will affect your whole school, infect your whole school, in fact.
That's true.
And it will affect attainment. People can't achieve, they can't focus on learning. It interferes with the whole running of your school. And the sooner they tackle it and turn it around, the better.
Okay, great. And Adrian, you also talking to me earlier about free advice, free help that you give. Can you tell us about that as well?
Go to www.bullyinginterventiongroup.co.uk, which is usually shortened to BIG, B-I-G, and there's Big Help on the site, which is free, and it's updated all the time and changed.
What kind of advice and help do you give there?
There's advice for young people who may be cyberbullied or bullied in any way, and there's also a section for parents. And for teachers and schools, they usually become members because they access our resources and our training for schools. That isn't open to the public, that's for schools that actually join. But a parent who's worried could go on and find a lot of help for parents and advice on what to do and where to get further help, and we change it and update it all the time.
That's great. Thank you so much. I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and I wish you all the best with everything as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so please, if you are being bullied, you're not alone. There are people out there to help you. If you don't feel comfortable speaking to like your parents, for example, please do get in touch with these charities that we've mentioned today on the programme, because there is help out there and you can have a life after cyberbullying. So it's a really, really important message, I think, to get across to everyone. Okay, but now we're going to go to a quick break and we're going to go to our regular makeup and fashion tips, and also we'll be looking at a really nice place to visit, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. We've heard all about cyberbullying, but I'd just like to talk about the other side of the coin and talk about the bullies themselves as well. And I'd like to illustrate this with a personal experience that I had, well, actually my sister mainly. We were at school and there was this child, he was like probably twice the size of everyone else, and he took a dislike to my sister for some reason. And so he used to bully her and taunt her and really make her life miserable. So my sister ended up telling my grandmother. Now, it was a good thing she didn't tell my dad, because he would have been straight down at school, and trust me, that bully would not have touched my sister again. But she told my grandmother instead. And what did my gran do? One day she came with, she dropped us off to school like she normally did. And then my sister showed her who the bully was. And my gran was like tiny, and she marched straight up to the bully. And do you know what she did? Did she tell him off? No. Did she say something to him? No, she couldn't speak English actually. She pulled out a box of chocolates from her bag and she gave it to this boy. And he was so taken aback. He didn't know what to say. He just kind of mumbled, and I was shocked. I was watching, I was thinking, what is going on? Is he going to punch my gran or something? He took the chocolates, he said thank you. And then from that day, he didn't bother my sister again, ever. And every time he saw my gran, he used to, say hello and be really friendly with her. And I was a child at the time, but this stayed in my mind, memory up until now, and I'm speaking about it today because maybe this boy had never ever received any kind of kindness from anyone before, because for him to react that way and for him to change his behavior just through one act of kindness must have really made an impression on him. So I believe sometimes the bullying issue goes a lot deeper. It's not just about bullies, it's about things that maybe start from home. So if a child is not getting love, is not getting affection, is not getting that attention from their parents, or maybe they're going through problems, they're not getting help, that's probably where the problem starts. Now, please, I'm not excusing, bullying behavior at all. It's, it's the wrong thing to do. If you are maybe going through issues, if you're bullying other people, you're going through issues, bullying other people is not going to make you feel better, even though you might think that it does. It's not going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel worse. You end up feeling guilty. You can get a criminal record, as we heard from our guest this evening. But you do need to talk to someone. So please, if you are going through something like this, you're thinking that by hurting other people is going to help you, do get help. And if you want my advice as well, you can email me directly, chris@chrissybisha.tv. I promise you that I will answer your email personally, and I can put you in touch with organisations that can help you as well. But enough on cyberbullying for this evening. Let's now go to our places to visit. And this is somewhere that Barbara and I visited, and it's absolutely lovely. So take a look at this.
Here we are on a luxury cruise boat at the marina in Brighton. You can see there's lots of other yachts and boats over there, and the sea is looking very green and almost tropical. We picked a perfect day. The sun is beaming down on us and we don't feel like we're in England at all.
And we're being looked after by waterfront sailing crew.
Duncan over there, who's works with the waterfront sailing crew, who's driving us. And this is the sort of Marina Bay area, jetty I think you call it.
It's only like an hour away from London, and you feel like you're abroad, and you get looked after well by the crew as well, so it's absolutely amazing here.
The cruise that we're on now is just a local cruise from Brighton Marina, and it normally lasts 1 hour, and we normally go to the pier, past the Palace Pier and onto the West Pier. People can reserve the catamaran for hen parties and birthday celebrations.
How many people can you take?
Up to 12 people on this yacht.
Basically, I just come down and help Duncan out with waterfront sailing. So when he's got some sort of corporate dues, or we do hen parties and things like that, and he also does Royal Yachting Association training, I just come down and help him out when he needs extra crew for that. So I'm just learning at the moment as well. So.
Any time I've come to Brighton, it's normally been just for the day, just to go to the beach and have fish and chips. But something like this is really great to do because it's just so different and beautiful.
If people want sort of seeing this and they think this would be fantastic, really fun thing to do, how can they sort of find out and inquire about it?
Waterfront's got a website, www.waterfrontsailing.com. Also, we've set up a Facebook page, and on that, if we've taken out anybody, Duncan will do a blog of what happened that day and put some pictures up and everything, so it's quite nice for people to see that. And if he's got anything going on, we're on Facebook as well, Waterfront Sailing on Facebook.
So Duncan, thank you so much for this cruise. I've loved it. As I said, I feel like I'm abroad, I've had a relaxing time, and it's an amazing thing to come and do. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been a pleasure from Waterfront Sailing.
So that was somewhere we actually went to last week. And we went to Brighton again today, so we're going to show you some more clips from there on next week's programmes as well. But next, let's go to Flavia Leo with her makeup tip for us.
Hi, welcome back to the fashion blog at Chrissy B Show. Today the tip will be about how to take care of your makeup during the day. If you put your makeup on in the morning and you have somewhere to go in the afternoon and you are all shiny, especially on a T-zone, a good thing to have and to carry on your purse is a compact powder. It will take the shine out, and there is something that you have to have. It's very important to have. So you just press the powder on your forehead, your nose, and your chin, and that will take care of the shine. Another thing that I want to talk to you about today is on how to make your lips look fuller, a little bit bigger, and I'll be using a pencil concealer today. You just mark right here. Do it around your mouth. So easy to do, and this will make a huge difference. You can use your lipstick inside. If you want to use pencil to contour your lips, you do it inside. And if you have big lips and you want to make them look smaller, you're gonna do the opposite. You should do it inside of your lips. If you want to make your lips look bigger, please don't go outside of the lips. You have a limitation right here. When you see the lighter part, you have to stop it before. You can't cross that line because it will not look natural. So if you want to make your lips look smaller, a little bit smaller, you're gonna mark right here. You do the heart, just like I did with the light concealer. If I was using a darker lip pencil on my lips, I would do it the same way here. Same way for small lips or for big lips. And right here, it has to be symmetric. If I do this right, everything will look symmetric. So I will mark here. And for big lips, you want to make a straight line from here to here. Make a straight line, and from here to here. This alone will create an illusion that your lips are much smaller. And you can, for small lips, if you want to make them look bigger, you will make it more round. You will do it this way. Not straight for big lips. You will do it in a round way. And I hope you liked it. I hope I have helped you. And I see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Flavia. So as you know, every Friday, Lisa Marie normally joins us. But as you heard last week, she's busy sunning herself in St. Lucia because she went for a friend's wedding. But she didn't leave us without a fashion tip because she actually went to the African Fashion Week. And here's what she got up to.
Today we're at the wonderful Spitalfields Market in London to be at Africa Fashion Week. Now this event first debuted here in London last year and it had such a major impact that they're back
bigger and better in 2012. There's runway shows, there's exhibits, there's so much here to see and do, and look at all the fashion that is not just the traditional that you'd expect, head wrappers, but African inspired fashion from around the world. So hope you enjoy it as much as I am going to. Accessories and shoes, I'm so there.
This isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fold it up, oh, oh, and if you fold it up, eh, eh, tamina, mina, sangalewa, 'cause this is Africa. Tamina, mina, eh, eh, waka, waka, eh, eh, tamina, mina, sangalewa, this time for Africa.
How was it walking in such an amazing show? There's some really great pieces there.
Oh yeah, I mean it was really great. I'm really proud.
It was absolutely awesome. The catwalk is very long, so you can take your time, and like the energy behind stage is just amazing, and there's so many clothes, beautiful things that we love to wear, so we love it.
I mean, previously when people think of African fashion, they're just thinking of head wrappers and the traditional outfits, but we're showing something really different here.
Absolutely, there's such a wide variety. There's things that you wouldn't necessarily think are African, but they're African inspired, so I think it's absolutely beautiful, very versatile, and we have a lot of variety.
Hi, so I'm lucky to be here with one of the designers that we just saw showing here today. So how did you get to be involved in this kind of fashion, I mean African inspired fashion?
We find it on the internet and we participate to the contest See Africa Differently, and we win the contest. That's why we are on the catwalk today.
So I have had a great time. I have seen some amazing things in the shows, seen some great food stalls, and might have to spend a bit of money on some of those stalls. But what I would do is highly recommend that you come down here and have a look next year, where I'm sure it's going to be even more amazing.
Thank you, Lisa Marie. Well, we have actually reached the end of our program today, but Monday's show will be back all about the ordeal of forced marriages and honour killings. In the UK, this is getting to be an increasing problem, and we need to raise awareness about it due to the extreme nature of this problem. Do join me as I hear from a survivor of this horrific experience as she tells us what she went through. But we'll end the show today with a funny video, and do have a great weekend. And if you want to contact me at any point, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. I promise to answer all emails personally. Bye-bye for now.